What's up, trainers? Coach MccDann here. With a consistent dedication to being a competitor in Smash, the grind can be much more intensive at some point or another. There are moments when we'll take a tough loss and be incredibly frustrated, or even be overloaded with information on things we think we can improve upon. So in today's lesson, we're going to dive into the understanding of when to take a break, and learn the secret to expanding your improvement while utilizing that break time. For our warm-up today, let's make things fun and focus on our precision. Head into training mode, select Final Destination as your stage, select Samus as your training CPU, and finally, in Settings, select Neutral Special as the CPU behavior. For 5 to 7 minutes, practice parrying Samus' charge shot consistently. Focus on parrying from further and closer distances, and allow yourself time to focus on your ability to parry the charge shot. The time it takes to improve in Smash Bros. Has never been linear. In fact, with Ultimate being its largest installment, it makes for one of the hardest Smash Bros. Games to master to date in terms of adjusting to various mechanics, character matchups, and overall game knowledge. So when we put ourselves in the position to absorb all this new info, day in and day out, depending on the consistency, it can easily be overwhelming. So what can we do when things tend to snowball and you either feel like you're playing worse or not learning anything? Well, it sounds like you, my friend, are in need of a break. Have you ever played Wii Sports and while playing saw a message that mentions taking a break? Chances are you're a player that noticed that message and blew right past it as you tried to pitch a perfect game in baseball or a perfect game in bowling. We've all been there before, and trust me, I don't blame you. It's interesting to think how much more established video games have been, especially when it comes to competitive esports titles. We don't see any of that, not even in casual games anymore. Getting wrapped up in some of our games when we're constantly in the grind can lead to some pretty bad effects, including frustration with losses, becoming inconsistent, and worst case of all, causing burnout. So when you consider that maybe it's time to take a break from the game, you're actually putting yourself in a good position to reset mentally and allow your brain the time it needs to process all that new info you've gathered about it within the past few days, weeks, or months. Some competitive players often view taking breaks from the game to be a sign of lacking motivation or ambition, and see it mostly in a negative light. But that shouldn't distract you from the fact that every player is different in every situation, so it's dependent on your attitude towards taking a break that matters. For our next exercise, let's expand off that workout, and fight a level 9 CPU Samus you've set on Final Destination for 10 minutes. Players often need breaks from the game that can span massive ranges in time frames. You could consider taking a break for 10 minutes or 10 days. There's no limit that you should set on yourself when you feel like you need a break more than anything. However, it's all about how you spend that break that matters. If you're fresh out of a game you just lost, do you consider a break being to sit in the same spot and scrolling on your phone or tablet? This often isn't extensive enough and won't really change much about the outcome of whatever game might come after it. Sometimes incorporating time to get up and stretch, go get some water, go for a walk, talk with a friend or a family member can shift your mind back to the present moment and out of the past, something that is needed to operate your best in any competitive scenario. So what happens when you think you need a break for more than a day? Usually these types of breaks can feel like you're at a loss for what you think you can do to win more games or improve overall. But it's important to consider the benefits of these kinds of breaks since you'll still be able to make use of that time. Sometimes, a break from Smash might not even look like you needing to put down the game. But instead, maybe now is a good time to stick to training mode for an hour each day and work on your movement to keep yourself familiar with your character's movement. Or better yet, if you still feel like getting into the action, research VODs of your main character and watch how other players utilize their abilities and their mechanics. Overall, when it comes down to the competitive side of Smash, no amount of extra time that you put into the game really matters at the end of the day. Obviously, consistently playing the game to improve is an important aspect of seeing results, but it has been consistently proven that more screen time does not equal improvement overall, but rather how you spend that time actively learning being what truly matters in the end. For our scrim today, let's not play any games, and instead have a steady focus on our movement in training mode. While in training mode, focus on enhancing your movement, projectile placement, ledge recovery options, and whatever else you can think of for 30 minutes. Don't forget to make things interesting though. Part of improving in Smash is also making sure we enjoy the progress of practice as much as playing the game itself. So pop on some music, talk with some friends, notice anything you think stands out of your play. Maybe you accidentally burn a resource coming back to stage, or you don't exactly B-reverse consistently. Regardless, allow yourself time to practice with a purpose and with patience. This is Coach MccDann, and until next time.